NFL Training Camp 2025 News, Live Updates. Shedeur Sanders throws dime of a TD in practice. All 32 NFL teams have reported to training camp, and there's no shortage of intrigue and storylines so far. Shedeur Sanders threw a touchdown pass during Saturday's Cleveland Browns practice that got social media buzzing. Check out this dime to fellow rookie Luke Floria out of Kent State. Sanders finished 8 of 11 with 3 touchdowns while working with the second team in Red Zone 11 on 11S and the third team in 7 on 7S, among other setups. Joe Flacco went 4 of 8, Kenny Pickett went 6 of 10 with 2 touchdowns, and Dillon Gabriel went 8 of 15 with a touchdown, per ESPN Cleveland. On Friday, Sanders was asked why he's not yet getting reps with the first team. "That's not my place to answer, to even be able to give the answer to that. I feel like it's not in my control, so I'm not even going to have that in my thought process," Sanders said. Shedeur Stewart agreed to a fully guaranteed deal with the Bengals on Friday, bringing to an end a months-long standoff over contract language with the 17th overall pick of April's draft. The $18.97 million is fully guaranteed, with a reported $10.4 million signing bonus. As part of the deal, Cincinnati reportedly softened language in the controversial clause that allowed the team to void Stewart's guaranteed money if he engaged in detrimental conduct. Now the Bengals turn their attention toward Trey Hendrickson, their other contract stalemate with a star pass rusher. The Raiders sent a clear message by releasing Christian Wilkins over a disagreement in his rehab after a foot injury. "If you're not going to be playing for us, you're not going to be sticking around with us." Without a doubt, that's how this new regime under head coach Pete Carroll and general manager John Spytek is planning to operate moving forward, refusing to hang onto what it views as roster-building errors from past regimes, and also aiming to be aggressive in moving on from any mistakes it might commit in the future. Are we sure Aaron Rodgers will only be a Steeler for a year, if things go well? In response to a question from Rich Eisen about possibly keeping Rodgers around longer than the 1 year he signed for, general manager Omar Khan said, "Obviously, we have to see how the season goes, but absolutely. He's a young 41, and we're obviously taking it year by year. And that's where we're at. But we're obviously not closing the door on anything." Interesting. The sun baked the fields, the scent of freshly cut grass mixing with the electric hum of anticipation. Reporters with notepads, phones raised for quick clips, and fans pressed against the fences all had one thing on their minds. Which quarterback will seize the moment today? For 3 days, the Cleveland Browns quarterback rotation had been a swirl of routine and rumor. Veterans Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco traded starter reps, while rookie Dillon Gabriel carved out his niche with second-team work. And then there was Shedeur Sanders, the former Colorado star whose NFL journey had been closely scrutinized since draft night. His snaps had been limited, his targets sometimes even practice squad wideouts, but whispers persisted. Wait until he gets his shot. Sun morning session, routine and restlessness. 9 a.m. Whistles echoed as quarterbacks cycled through footwork drills. Sanders, in a crisp white practice jersey, looked smooth but distant, like a musician forced to rehearse scales while longing to play the melody. "He's going to need more than this," muttered a fan along the sideline, arms folded. He didn't come here to hold a clipboard. Head coach Kevin Stefanski watched quietly, arms crossed, visor pulled low. When asked about potential changes in rep distribution, he offered his trademark measured tone. "We'll evaluate after every session. Nothing earth-shattering yet." Clipboard live update, depth chart drama. 10:15 a.m. 7-on-7 drills began. Pickett commanded the huddle with the authority of a returning starter, threading quick outs and curls. Flacco showed veteran patience, checking down rather than forcing deep shots. Gabriel flashed mobility, rolling left to find a tight end in stride. Sanders again waited. A few reps came his way, but with a patchwork group, receivers fighting for roster spots, not first-string names. His passes were sharp but unnoticed. A dropped ball brought groans from the crowd. A coach patted him on the helmet and moved on. Cloud with lightning afternoon session. A spark in the air. 2:30 p.m. Clouds gathered, casting shadows over the fields as the team broke into full 1-1-on-1-1. The tempo rose. Linemen clashed, cleats tore into turf, and the competition's stakes suddenly felt tangible. Sanders took a knee beside the quarterback's circle, helmet balanced on his thigh. The play caller's voice rang out. "First team, set. Let's roll." But then came something unexpected, a rotation shuffle. Stefanski glanced down at his chart and gave a nod to the rookie. Shedeur, grab a helmet. You're in. Gasps erupted from the sideline crowd. Reporters scrambled to refocus cameras. Rocket the play, a dime from nowhere. The huddle broke. Sanders walked to the line with a quiet confidence, scanning the defense. He tapped his face mask twice, adjusted the cadence, and took the snap. The pocket held. For a heartbeat, time stretched thin. Sanders' eyes darted left, then center. A safety bid on the short cross. A cornerback hesitated. In that fraction of space, Sanders uncorked a throw, a tight spiral cutting through humid air like a guided missile. Downfield, rookie wideout Marcus Langston sprinted past the coverage. The ball descended perfectly over his shoulder, dropping into his hands in stride, untouched, 6 points if it had been live. Touchdown.